All right, so actually,
you want me to start it off?
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, we're jumping in where we left off last time. We were talking about hangboarding, and we talked about some of the block pull protocols that I like to do. Right. What we're going to do today is take a look at how we're going to assess what your working weights are going to be. Okay. So basically, you are not warmed up, right? We're going to go through start to finish. If I was only doing block pulls, I have weights and a loading pin at home, and I have my block. I'm going to do a workout without the gym. Normally, you can do these after warming up in the gym, but we're, for the sake of going through this, let's show everything we got, right? Okay. Yeah, go. How are you feeling today?
Feeling good. I had a pretty long session yesterday, so it's exciting, but...
yeah, I mean, that's fine. It's going to affect your kind of max numbers, right? Like if your fingers are tired, it's going to pull down the max a little bit. But my personal opinion is we don't need to find out what our absolute limit is to find an accurate training weight, right? Because we still always want to stay 80% or below of our, what our theoretical limit max is. Okay. So we got a couple things going on. Number one, we have a loading pin here. A lot of people might not know what that is. A loading pin is literally just a steel, or they make them out of different materials, but something where we can stack weights on it and has a little disc at the bottom so that they don't fall off the steel. Right. A lot of companies make them. I would just find one that is not poorly constructed. So don't go with the cheapest one online, go with the second cheapest, Don't
go with the aluminum ones.
If you want to go fancy, Rogue Fitness always has overbuilt stuff. So if you want something that's going to last a long time, I like Rogue. But this is I don't think that we could find this one again if we tried. Right. And then we just have a little bit of cordelette, and then we take a carabiner, go between the cord and the block. Go. That's the equipment we need besides weights. I have 45 pounds on here right now. That's going to be our starting warm-up number because we're going to be focusing primarily on this 20 mil. Okay. And then we have an assortment of weights that we can add as we go. So we've got another 45, we've got 25s, 10s, 5s, and then 2.5s. Here's a fun little pro tip. If you don't have a 2.5, get a can of beans or a can of tomatoes or something, and you can just balance it on the plate. There you go. Just add that little bit at a time, because especially at lower weights, so when we talk about the pinch training, if your max pinch is 25 pounds, if you try to make a 5-pound jump, you're making a 20% increase. That's big, yeah. Right? That's huge. Yeah. Whereas if we're at 135 or 100 pounds and we add 5 pounds, it's a 5% jump. Right? Percentage is kind of the name of the game with this. Okay. All right. So I think we talked about it last time, what the form is going to look like. We've got a comfortable half crimp, step onto the yoga blocks on either side of the weight, and all we do is stand up with it, switch hands, stand up with it, keeping neutral spine, straight arm, all that good stuff that goes into normal lifting form. Okay. And we're going to do a 10-second hold. Most of our working weights are going to be, our working sets are going to be 5 seconds, but just for the sake of warming up.
These long arms.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. And then it'll help if you also just stand up a little higher, chest 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cool. All right. So we got 45. Felt comfortable? Yeah. So we unclip that block, and we're just going to keep making little jumps. So we're going to throw a 25 on.
By little, he means 25 more pounds.
25. Well, but here's the thing, right? With that 20 mil, that's a relatively comfortable weight. We know that you can hang your body weight off of a 20 mil with 2 arms. Got it. So in theory, half of your body weight is still really comfortable on the 20 mil. Right. Yeah. Help yourself to my chalk. Help yourself to your chalk at Beta Labs.
Oh yes, Beta Labs.
At Beta Labs always. We love Beta Labs.
We love Beta Labs.
But cool. So I'm gonna warm up with you because I feel like as we're getting more comfortable, we're gonna keep going. Other thing that I like to do is I'll kind of just do I'm gonna say reps where I'll kind of lift and kind of bounce the weight on my fingers.
Almost pulsing it, yeah.
Yeah, for whatever, it feels comfortable. I feel like Tyler Nelson would say that's really helpful. Right. But so much of what I do warm-up wise is based on feel. Right. So let's just do your same 10 seconds on each hand.
I'm not going to start bouncing it. I'm not crazy like
that. No need to right now.
It's a big difference.
3, chest up, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Switch hands.
Yeah, I would not do that bouncing.
Good. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so we went up slightly in weight,
Right.
and now we went up slightly in weight. Now we're just gonna do the same exact thing, 10 seconds each hand.
Okay.
We already did this one, so let's add another.
Okay.
Right? But for folks at home, just incremental, right? So we jumped up by 25 pounds that time. We're gonna progressively make smaller jumps as we go.
So from 45
let's
to 25.
add a 10 on.
So now we're doing 10.
45, 25. We can even go 15 because we've got a ways to go in terms of how much weight you're going to be pulling here. But
You are very optimistic about what I can pull.
oh,
Right.
I think you're pessimistic about what you can pull. And we can also start dropping time now, so we can go at 8 seconds each hand.
Right.
So 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cool. Have a go.
All right, try and keep up, Tyler.
Try to keep up. Love it. Not struggling yet, right? Still comfortable?
I wouldn't say comfortable,
All right.
but yeah.
Well, too bad. We're gonna keep going. So I'm gonna strip the 10 and the 5.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with another 25 because now that's only a 10-pound jump. We just did a 15. Now this is only a 10. Cool. I'm just gonna let you take over now.
All right,
Cool.
fine.
All right.
How long do I rest in between?
So again, by feel right now, because we're still warming up to it, I would say a minute would be
Okay.
what is necessary, but if you feel like you need more, take it.
Okay.
And I can keep talking. I don't know.
You can keep talking, give myself a minute. Has it been a minute? I don't think it's
Definitely not, but
Okay.
it's been a minute for your right hand.
Okay.
Right? So that's an important thing to keep in mind is the
Counting the seconds.
yeah, like if we're gonna get very specific with time, like it's been a minute since your right hand pulled,
Right.
not since your left, but like by the time your right hand is done, left hand is there.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
So
There
let's
we
go for it.
Let's go for it.
Yeah. Eight. Cool. Okay.
All right.
So, what was our last jump?
That was 10 pounds.
10 pounds,
You added
so-
another 10?
Let's do 7.5.
7.5.
We
All
got
right.
a 5. We got a 2.5. And like I said, the lighter or the less weight you have, the bigger jump each pound is, right? So
Right.
7.5, and I'll go to give you give you a little bit more rest. Couple things I'll point out. Number one, some people are more comfortable with their thumb facing away from them.
Yeah, I
Some
felt
people
like
are more
my-
comfortable rounded in, so the thumb to the side. I feel like as I get heavier, I want it more.
Yeah, I felt like my
pointed
thumb
forward.
was like almost there, right where yours is. Yeah.
Which is totally fine.
Yeah.
Mine kind of hangs to the side. Good. And like I said, we're just going to do a 6 second on this one.
Oh, okay,
right?
so we're
It's
going-
getting heavy, right? We've got 45 plus 50 is 95, plus 7.5 is 102.5.
Sorry.
Right?
All right.
And so, sorry.
No,
if
no.
you weigh 200 pounds, right, we're over half body weight,
Yeah.
which is a 20 mil body weight hang. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Heavy.
Yeah.
Good.
Left is like, you sure you want to do this?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
No.
Okay.
Nothing on the
Cool.
left.
So left is dipping out there.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So now we know a couple things. Number one, we have a bit of disparity between your two hands, which is very normal
Right.
and kind of to be expected. I've got like a 2.5, 5 pound difference between, like my left is a bit weaker, but also always depends on like the day.
Right.
Like some of my projects are very like right hand intensive, and then my right hand is lower that day. But this is also a really good way to assess, sort of where your strengths and weaknesses are.
Yes.
So let's drop that 7.5
Okay.
because we were comfortable with 8 seconds here,
Okay.
right? So that means that we're in a good,
Comfortable.
yeah, we're in a comfortable range. So now we're gonna get to what our working weight is. And we're gonna give you a little bit of rest.
Okay.
Make sure that you're actually fully rested for
Okay.
these. I'll take this. Good. And I'll explain what our protocol is going to be.
All right.
We talked last time about that Tabata timer app. The way that I set that for this is 5 seconds on, 5 seconds off, 5 seconds on. So 5, 5, 5.
Rest. Okay.
Rest 1 minute.
So are you
So-
doing same hand?
5 seconds on, 5 seconds off, switch hands.
Got it.
Right, that 5 seconds is really just to switch hands and
Yep,
get
yep.
yourself comfortable.
Yep, yep.
And then we've got 1 minute rest. And then we've got 3 sets, and we're going to talk about the different positions we're going to use. So we've got the 20 mil, the 10 mil, 3-finger drag on the 20 mil, and the pinch. But for right now, we're just going to do this 20 mil.
Okay.
All right. So, and we'll talk about sort of like percentages and how to use those things. But so it's going to be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. 1 minute.
1 minute.
Okay. You feeling recovered, or you want another minute?
Yeah, we're good.
Go for it?
Yeah, we're
okay,
good.
Cool. And look, so here's the point where, you know, we're switching to working weights.
Okay.
We got to go by feel here, because the first one might feel easy and you might be tempted to go up. Don't let one sample size of 1 boost the ego, right?
Not gonna happen.
Which is not your problem, but 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cool. Comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet.
Okay.
So we know a 7.5 pound jump, right, from 95 to 102.5.
Right.
Right. That was enough to
thing.
get you, right? So I don't know what our percentage is there, but we hit 3 seconds at that 102.5, and we're comfortable at 5 seconds here.
Right.
So that percentage is like, I'm not good enough at math to
Yeah.
talk about like the difference in max percentage for the 3 second versus a 5 second.
Right.
Right. Ultimately, what we're aiming for is the next time we do these, we can add 2.5, 5 pounds, something in that realm.
So like when you're talking about next time,
Yeah.
my next session, which
Yeah.
would be like I wouldn't do this 2 days in a row, right?
Not 2 days in a row.
Right.
I would say, depending on how you're feeling, typically I don't like to do these even like 1 day or with 1 rest day. I like at least 2.
Okay.
Especially like you get heavier and heavier, it's more taxing on your fingers
Sure.
and your shoulder. Like it starts to get pretty
Yeah.
brutal.
It's like
I would say, you know, once every, what is that, 3 days?
3 days.
That's like usually a good amount.
Okay.
And that's if you're gonna go twice a week. I like to do these once a week. I feel like that's a good balance for me where I can still perform well on the wall as I'm going. All right. Been about a minute. Let's hit our next set.
All right, sorry.
Cool.
I'm just sitting there talking.
Intentional. Makes
Right,
you rest.
intentional, right.
Yep. All right.
All right.
So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Good control. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect.
Okay.
And we're still comfy there?
Yeah.
Awesome. And I think we talked about this a little bit last time. It is way better to be 10% under what might be like your optimal working weight than it is to be 2% over, right? As soon as we hit that, like, you know, above, like risk of injury, rate of recovery, like everything gets worse.
Yeah, it's like, because I'm like, I'm sitting there with the left hand, I'm like, I can probably hold on to it, but like, do I really want to?
Yeah.
Right.
And like what we really want is like, no individual session matters. It's about trends, right? So if we start lighter, we have more room to grow.
Yeah.
The progressive overload's evil cousin is regressive underload, which is like you're not doing enough volume, intensity, frequency, you're not using enough weight, whatever. As long as there is slow progression, we feel good.
Cool.
All right. So let's hit your third set.
Back at it again. Let's go. Okay.
Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Started to feel a little bit there.
Oh, I think mainly like it's just trying to keep the weight off the ground because I have these.
Yeah, having higher blocks is good.
These long
Using
arms.
2 blocks, I always end up like rolling off.
Yeah,
So
no, for sure.
What I have done in the past is I stand on 2 benches, and it's like this big deadlift.
Yeah.
It's just like a hassle to set up. And then I end up like the deadlift becomes part of it because I'm lifting so high. Yeah, which like my back is strong enough. Like a 135-pound deadlift is not an issue for me. But for some people who've like never deadlifted, don't know how to like keep their back straight and engaged, like I wouldn't recommend a big range of motion. Right. Cool. Feeling good?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Let's talk over like what that 3-finger drag and what that 10 mil is. I don't think we need to do it because I think the pinch is the bigger difference.
Okay.
Right. So typically, with my 3-finger drag, I take off something in the realm of, let's say my working weight is 150 on the 20 mil. My 3-finger drag is something like 115. So I'm taking off, let's say like 30% of my total weight.
Okay.
I think. Again, math is tricky, but taking off roughly 30%.
Okay.
And then my 10 mil usually is somewhere around my 3-finger drag. But that is very dependent on the person. So I would, to find your working weight on the drag and that 10 mil, you can start with half of what your 20 mil is and build up again to find your limit.
And this is what, 90?
This is 95. So let's pretend it's 100. Let's start at 50 for you on those.
Right.
We don't have to do it right now, but
Right.
or start at 45 because that's a convenient number.
Right.
And then and build up from there.
Right.
So normally, like, you know, in this session, like we found your working weight for the 20 mil, we found what's appropriate. Awesome. I would add 5 pounds next time, go for 100 and keep building up for there.
Okay.
But if you're gonna go the drag and the 10 mil, start at 45 and slowly build up. And a good first session is just establish those maxes and find what is comfortable with that drag, what is comfortable with that 10 mil that feels like the same rate of perceived exertion, RPE, as the 20 mil did, because we know we have a good number there.
Got it.
Cool. Let's talk through the pinch, which we have the same principles for, but because it's always a lighter weight, unless you've got some, you know, freaky pinch genetics, which, I mean, you've got big hands, that helps, right? I would say, like, pinching is something that I would consider a strength of mine, but it's very finicky. It's very temperamental, right? So as much as I want to see consistent progressive overload with the pinch, it like is mad at me sometimes. Like I don't know how else to say.
I find that my pinch is better on the wall than you know, like when I'm pinching on the wall. I don't know. It's just the mechanics of the, you know, lat engagement and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That I can, you know, but I don't.
Yeah, I mean that makes a ton of sense, right? Like pinching is pretty technical when you boil it down. Like the thinking about like how is your wrist able to direct you in different positions. Like some people are like good at finding that squeeze and being able to like push their thumb to move left and like pull in with their wrist to move right. And but this is a good way to. I mean, you might find out that you have a very strong pinch, and that's why it feels like technically.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah, we're gonna find out.
We're gonna find out.
Hey, the more you mess around, the more you find out, right?
There it is.
Cool. All right, so we're just gonna start at 25, which like I think for you is gonna be a good working weight, and that's a quarter of your 20 mil,
so it's
right?
just pinching that.
Yep. I've got the block, like the cord wrapped around the block, around the front and back, and then chalk in my eye, which is great.
Is that my chalk?
And then real quick, pay attention to this thumb.
Oh, okay.
Take the line of your thumb and make sure that it's not touching the block. We just want to use the pad.
Okay.
Right? You can like the line can be touching. You don't have to like hyperextend or anything. Like that looks like a comfortable position for you.
Okay.
Good. And then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good.
That was funny.
It's hard, right?
No, it wasn't.
No?
I was expecting it to be way harder.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah,
cool.
that was
25 is reasonable.
After like yarding on, you know, and being
the
like,
20
I was
mil.
like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, but like that's a good point, right? So let's think about your session. We started off without any other warm up. That pinch is light, but if your fingers aren't warmed up, it's going to be way harder, and you're really relying on just your thumb. So order of exercises matters a good amount.
For sure.
I do my 20 mils first, like we just did. Then I'll do my 3-finger drag, because I feel like that's comfortable. Then I'll do my 10 mil, and I finish with my block, because I feel like by the time my fingers are tired, my thumb is the most active that it needs to be.
That's because that's when we really work with the pinch.
Yeah, exactly. So if I can get the chalk out of my eye, we'll bring we'll bring the weight up.
All right,
so
I can bring the weight up.
And like I said before, percentages matter. So a 5-pound jump right now is a 20% increase. I think you can handle that increase, but let's make sure that it's reasonable.
Yeah, that was actually very, like it was, you have that, you know, I'm in that, okay, I'm really going to be pushing myself here from the
One more pro tip is the sides of the block get kind of greasy.
Oh yeah, for
Before
sure.
I go, I just wipe the sides of my pants, and you'll see like the amount of chalk on my pants there actually is pretty revealing. You can brush it, make sure your thumb is chalked up, because friction is important with this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Gotta put in the right position.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome.
Yeah.
Now I noticed a little bit more of like a wobble on the left hand. Was that just how you stood up, or did
I think
it
it's
feel
how
a
I
little
stood up.
harder?
Yeah, it was just it was fine.
Sweet. All right, so I took that 5, ripped it off, and put a 10 on. So we made another 5-pound jump, which is less of a percentage. It's 1/6 instead of 1/5 now.
Right.
But like if that 20-30 had felt heavy for you, we would have gone up by 2.5.
Okay.
Right. So we're gonna keep going here,
and left hand is always the
for me for sure. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I feel like what hand do you write with determines your pinch strength.
Yeah.
You know. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Still comfy?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So far.
I mean, so right. We're gonna keep going. I just think that you are good at pinching. Like, it's a strength of yours.
Okay.
Big hands, strong thumbs. What I will say is this is the one that goes from comfortable to failure kind of like quickly.
Yeah, like you're just like gonna lose it, it's gonna pop.
Like for me, like 45 I can always do. And then 50 is temperamental, 55 is temperamental. So like I've pulled 65 and I've done working weights at 35, and there's like, I can't predict when it'll be what.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see that for sure.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's literally like you can hit a pinch one way and then it's just not there.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. So the left hand was just starting to lose.
Just starting to. Cool.
Yeah.
And so you can drop it.
Okay.
What we found is when your left hand gave out on the 20 mil, right, when we were testing that, that's how we knew to back off. Right now, that just felt hard. Think about your third set at that weight. It's still going to feel hard.
Right.
Right? You might even drop at that weight.
Right.
So I don't think we even need to test at another to find your working weight. This is a good number for you. So 35 plus 5, that's 40 pounds.
Okay.
Right? And when you're warming up for this next time around, you just do that same progression. You can go 25 and then a 10, then add your 5 and do your working sets.
And then 2, 3 sets.
Yeah.
Cool.
Same format.
Right.
5 seconds on, switch hands, 5 seconds on.
1 minute
and then 1 minute rest, 3 sets.
Cool.
Cool. That's it. I mean, it's not rocket science, right? It's exercise science.
It's exercise, body science.
When you're considering like your year, right? Over the summer when we're out of season, we can go heavy. We can add a second day of it.
Okay.
We can do 4 sets instead of 3.
Okay.
I usually don't like to add sets. I like to just add
more weight.
Yeah, more weight. Because I like to keep volume pretty similar. You know, we increased frequency if we go twice a week, but in season, like if I'm going outside a lot, what I like to do that kind of keeps my fingers sharp is I will drop down to 2 sets. And maybe take 10% off the top. And what I found like last season or last spring, I found that I was actually able to keep making incremental progress while I was still climbing outside because I jumped back a little bit and I was able to just maintain and be able to recover because it started submaximally. I'm still getting stimulus. I'm still adapting to something heavy, but it does heavy doesn't always mean maxing out.
Right.
Cool. Awesome. All right. How we feeling?
Feeling good.
Cool.
Yeah, this is great. So now this along with hangboarding.
Yeah.
And I don't have a pin at home, and I can probably rig something, but I think if it's two times a week, I can totally work that into my gym rotation.
Yeah. And for this right now, for you, once a week.
Or once a week.
Yeah, because we're in comp season.
Comp season, right.
Yeah. And what's great, I think we talked about this a little bit last time, the term like newbie gains, which is hilarious for you especially. But newbie gains, like doing a new stimulus like this, once a week, you're going to see big improvements, even though we're in season, even though we're pretty limited on frequency. It's going to get good fast.
Right.
but we want to control that rate of progression. So we don't want to make a 15-pound jump from one session to the next.
Right.
Like you've heard, like just add 5 pounds every session. That's a great thing to do when you're first starting out with something. And then we can get into like, okay, this week I'm going to do the same weight twice, and then next week I'm going to add 5 pounds.
Patience.
Or yeah, patience. Patience. That's like what I have to stress so much with the team kids.
Right.
Is like you can't just add 40 pounds to your weighted pull-up when you've never done a weighted pull-up. Like we need to start slow.
Right.
And that's how you create sustainable growth, right? Don't bite off more than you can chew.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna do repeaters and block pulls. That's your once a week each,
Okay.
and that's where we're gonna start.
Cool.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Questions on this?
No.
Awesome.
All right. Good to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, it's like one of the more straightforward things. If you don't have a block, so like if you have like the flash board is the longer one, you can still use like that middle edge.
Right.
If you have something with a bigger edge, that's fine.
Right.
You don't have to use 20 mil, right? You don't have to use 10 mil. Pick something, and if you have like an edge that is comfortable for you, but you don't have a smaller edge, don't do the smaller edge ones. If you don't have something you can pinch, don't do the pinches.
Right.
I would recommend working your pinches because it helps a lot.
Yeah.
But use what's comfortable. Like Tyler Nelson always preaches, like start with a 25, start with a 30.
Right.
For you, we know that a 20 is comfortable now. Even, but for like Xavier, he might want a 25 mil. It's hard to find ones that are bigger.
Right.
I know like Charlie Schreiber was just like searching through Instagram for help finding something between like a 25 and a 30.
In a training block.
Yeah, and a training block. So what Tension makes is really easy, but they're always sold out. I know Metolius. Do you remember the old like Metolius rock rings?
Yeah.
I just saw they're making a wooden rock ring now.
Yeah.
And it's the same as a block.
It's sold out though.
But is it?
Yes.
We have a set of Gowanus. Go get them.
Nice.
So cool. I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
Right?
All right. Cool. And so that's it. And if you are interested in following me through this journey, like literally from the beginning, I know that most videos you see out there, it's like, okay, we did this, and here's kind of a recap of everything that's happened. And this is literally from the beginning through the journey. I'm going to force myself to actually keep up on the training. Tyler's going to be hovering over me, making sure that I'm actually doing the right thing. And then so definitely subscribe, either on YouTube, Insta, so that you can keep track of what's going on. And do not forget to check out Tyler on Insta. Yes. Tyler G Coaching.
Tyler G Coaching, Tyler, letter G,
and
Coaching.
I'll, of course, drop it in the description. Yeah. Thank you all for joining us again. We'll see you next time.
Couple more plugs, is that all right?
Yeah.
Halloween comp here at Valhalla,
yeah.
October 20th.
Yeah.
Gotta climb in costume. It's gonna be rad. I'm emceeing. And then best MC in the game. I'm just gonna start promoting that. I'm gonna take it. And then hit me up for coaching. And then Bagel Boys Climbing. Follow that as well on Instagram and YouTube.
Yep.
Big drop coming very soon for that.
All right.
It's gonna be exciting.
Looking forward to it.
Awesome, man.
All right, Tyler.
Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
Cool.
Later.